All right, shalawam. All right, first off, I want to say all praises to Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi, bahasham Rakah Qudash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of GMS, and to the ones doing the work out there in sincerity and in truth around the four corners. Shalawam. All right, so this is GMS Precepts. My name is Nazar Khud, and you see here on the screen, I have here a CNN article. It says Starbucks says it's closing down 150 stores next year. Okay, so I mean, in this year alone, you've got a lot of stores that close down, a lot of companies that are closing down a lot of stores. I believe Kmart, Sears, all right, Macy's. You got a lot of stores that are just closing down, man. All right, and that's all part of prophecy. I have Ecclesiastes queued up here. Okay, let me. I'll start from verse 4. It says, excuse me, Ecclesiastes 12:4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. All right, so the point is in the beginning of this verse here when it says all the doors shall be shut in the streets when the grinding and when the sound of the grinding is low. Right now, what is that going into? That's going into that's going into all these stores, just like you see in this article. This is another article, just like you see in this article, as far as Starbucks closing down, Kmart, Toys R Us is no more. So you had a lot of companies that are closing down their stores. Why? Because the economy isn't what it used to be, man. All right, we're probably, I believe, a month or so ago, America was $21 trillion in debt. All right, they had accumulated $1 trillion in only 6 months. All right, so this country is rapidly declining, man. Matter of fact, just reminding me of another scripture in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Okay, excuse me, Habakkuk, right? Habakkuk, the second chapter, right? Let me see. I believe, where you at? Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Here it is, verse 6. It says, "Shall not all these take up a parable against them, and a taunting proverb against them, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his." Right, and that's what Esau did. They increased on all these nations. They increased on land. All right, they increased on all these things that are not theirs. And how did they do it? They took it by the sword, man. Which, if you go back to Genesis, the sword of Esau, the sword of the people of Edom, was going to be that sword. Okay, which is the gun, man. Which is they were able to acquire all these lands, all these nations by what? By their military. That's why it says in Genesis, the fatness. They should have the fatness of the earth, meaning they should pretty much have the world, just like it says in Job 9:24. The earth and the power of it shall be given to them. So right now we're living in a time of Esau's blessing, man. All right, but the good news is that blessing is coming to an end. All right, and it tells you, according to prophecy, that the ones that are gonna come after him, it tells you in 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, that Jacob is gonna come in his stead. Jacob is gonna be the rulers, the next rulers on the planet Earth, going back to the blessings given to us, starting with Abraham. All right, from who? From the Most High. Right. So it says, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Okay, now when you go into that word clay, it goes back to the Hebrew word abatyat, okay, which means debt. And that's what America has done. America has accumulated massive amounts of debt throughout its existence. All right. And especially now, it's at an astronomical rate, man. How quickly and how much debt has been acquired just past 10 years. All right, I always make this comparison from the time of George Washington to George Bush. Okay, which is around whenever I believe George Bush, whenever that nigga was around. All right, when he was around to George Bush, George Bush was president. George Bush, Jr. Okay, George W. Bush around 2003. The U.S. debt was only $3 to $4 trillion. Okay, it was around $3, $4, $5 trillion. Right now, from Obama's presidency, which was in '08, to now, which is 10 years later, it went from we're now at $21 trillion, man. It's probably 22 now, because I remember a few months ago they had accumulated $1 trillion in 6 months. So this scripture right here, this prophecy is referring to who? Edom, man. All right, I'll read it again. Shall not all these take up a parable against them, and a taunting proverb against them, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Let's just go into the word. I already know what it is, but let's go into the word clay, right? The Hebrew word ibatyut, right? Wedge of pledges, heavy debts. Okay, all right. And that's what that's what perfectly explains this situation America is going through, right? So let me go back to this situation here, right? Starbucks says it's closing down 150 stores. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that point out real quick. This damn devil. I just wanted to bring that point out real quick. They're closing what? They're closing a lot of stores down by next year, 150, right? So the next article I wanted to get into was your man Trump, all right, and his tariffs, man. Trump threatens tariffs on 200 billion. Excuse me. Trump threatens on 200 billion dollars in Chinese goods, tariffs in Chinese goods. So, and what? That's just gonna escalate the fight. Now I put out a video, a video about trade war leads to a real war, right? Now it's funny that we've been saying it through the spirit, from the apostles all down, but now it's being written in articles now, man. Okay, now it's being look at this. This is today. Breaking: Dow falls 250 points on lingering trade worries. Heads for an 8-day losing streak. You see this, man? So this nation, this country is going down, man. It's circling the drain, man. All right. So for all you guys that got plans, even amongst Israel, you got guys saying, yeah, I'm gonna do this in July. I'm gonna do this. Nah, nigga, you don't know what you're gonna do, man. All right. This looks to be another hot summer where you're gonna see a lot of prophecies rolling out, man. Let me see if this is because I had this the article up. That might have been yesterday, but still. Oh, see, you know what? This might be right now. This might be some. Look at this. Updated 2 minutes ago. Dow falls 250 points on lingering trade worries, man. So look, that's why it says, "How ye inhabitants of Maktesh." All right, which the inhabitants, which the area or the city of Maktesh was what? It was a merchant city where trade was, where trade happens. It was no different from Wall Street in New York. Okay, how ye inhabitants of Maktesh. Okay, so man, if there's a stock market crash, man, that's just gonna add on to the that's if one thing happens, that's just gonna act like a snowball effect to other sectors of the economy. All right. So continuing on, now you see the rhetoric of these articles in media saying saying linking trade war to actual real war. Okay, just like it says here in the 1930s, a U.S. trade war escalated into a real war, which it led into World War III. That that's what really led into World War II. Let me scroll down to that point in the article. Where was it? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? I think it's right here. It says it says right here. Nationalist rhetoric was heating up, with countries blaming others for their struggles. All of that eventually escalated, turning a trade war into a real war when World War II began. All right, that's what happened. There were tariffs placed on Europe, tariffs placed on Canada, which is happening now. You got tariffs placed on Europe. Trump put tariffs on Canada. You know, I always say, man, Trump can't buy a friend, man. He's making more, and you can see the prophecy of all these nations coming against America and with their missiles, man. You can actually that's becoming more and more of a reality, man. Of these other nations getting sick and tired of America and be like, you know what, let's just fucking press a button on these niggas, man. You know? You can actually see that now. Okay? Cause this dude, this dude is definitely gonna bring in that third world war. All right, and it's already this article is basically saying that trade war. Look at this. In the hopes, I read it again. That's why after the war ended, nations formed. I'm gonna read this one. It says nationalist rhetoric was heating up, with countries blaming others for their struggles. All of that eventually escalated. And you can see that now. You've got nations, you've got countries, you've got America blaming other countries for their struggles, man. Okay, for their financial struggles. So that's happening now, and it says all of that eventually escalated, turning a trade war into a real war when World War II began. Okay, so I just wanted to hit that point again as far as this, man. This dude Trump is definitely going to be the one to do it. And these trade wars that are happening, brother, I'm sure brothers are, keep an eye on this trade war that Trump is doing with all these other nations, because that's definitely going to lead into a bigger war. Okay, that's definitely going to lead into a bigger war. All right, so that's pretty much. I wanted to touch on Starbucks, and I wanted to touch on Trump with his $200 billion in tariffs on China, and he's not stopping with China. And matter of fact, let me read the part in this article. Let me read this right here. It says, because it's not only 200, right? It says the president left little doubt that the United States would continue to hit back even harder if China counters, adding tariffs to another $200 billion worth of Chinese goods. All told, the Trump administration is threatening to impose tariffs on as much as $450 billion worth of goods, including an earlier round, a sum nearly as large as the total value of goods China sent the United States last year, which was $5.6 billion. All right, so the total, so it's 200 added on to a prior tariff that Trump put on China. And the total of $450 billion is nearly the sum of the total value of goods China sent the United States last year, which was $505.6 billion, man. So this dude is doing his thing, man. This dude's doing his thing. Okay, so that's pretty much it, man. Until the next show, shalawam.